I'm going to go mute for just a moment here, Courtney. Okay, so you probably won't hear me when I cut out of this. I think you might only hear me during the scene, or possibly, I don't know, one way or another, but you might hear me, but I do not hear you now. Are you talking? I can't hear you. Let's see here. Okay. We might have to adjust this on the fly when we get to that scene, but cogwheel on the far right. Give me just a minute. Ah, there we go. Okay, I was wondering why I was getting tons of messages. I got it. Can you guys hear me now? uh, let's see. I'm going to wait for some response. Are we good with audio? Yes, thank you very much. So let's rehash what I just went through. Welcome to Meet the Polymaker. I'm your host, Nikor, and I'm learning things as we go along. Today's show is going to be a little bit, maybe, a few mistakes here and there, as there usually is. But we're doing a one-man show today. So we got the producer out. I am doing kind of everything all at once. I think everything is set up. I went through it all last night. I'm hoping we got it right. But either way, let's continue with the show. In today's show, we do have a pretty awesome guest. She has a ton of energy. She's just awesome to meet in person. If you were in here very beginning of the stream, you've probably seen a sneak peek as I flipped through the scenes on accident. If you did not see, then just hang tight. It's going to be a pretty awesome guest. Can't wait to talk to her here. Other than that, we're going to do as we always do. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to show off some print show-offs. We're going to have some pretty cool commercials, and stay tuned for that. There is a new community submission. So that is actually another pretty cool one that I enjoyed watching for the first time. I think you guys will too. And then also, of course, we're going to meet the maker. We're going to meet a new maker today. She's, again, just a fun lady. But we're also doing a giveaway. Before I forget and go to the next scene, let's do a reminder. I am awesome in chat for a chance to win a spool of Polymaker filament at the end of the show. So be sure to enter that in now. I'll give you a last chance at the end of the show to enter that in. But with all that said, let's go ahead and move on with the show, and let's take a look at our news. First up, we're going to talk about a rather quick quadcopter. This is a world record quadcopter. Its top speed, 317 miles per hour. Again, of course, as the title says, this is 3D printed. This thing is a 3D printed quadcopter moving at that speed. And with the what I found out what they do on the world record is they do an average speed. That average speed on this was, I think, let's see here, average top speed of 298 miles per hour. The previous record was 224. Pretty significant jump. If you watch the video on YouTube, that's Luke Maximo Bell. He's a YouTuber. He has plenty of videos on this. The testing was pretty fun to watch. He burned up quite a few. A lot of test flights were actually just hover flights, kind of base flights, and he'd land it to kind of end it, and it would just burst into flames multiple times. So he got frustrated several times, but he came through, and he presented this, what you see on the screen here, to go 317 miles per hour. What is also awesome in that video you'll see is he did FPV, so it's got a camera on it, and he was surprised at how stable it was. At I think 200 and some miles per hour, he was able to do turns. It wasn't falling apart, nothing ripped apart. And I think it was, let's see, he did an endurance test, and it was able to fly at an average of 112 miles per hour for 4.6 miles. Insane. It's not like it's a large drone. The battery was a decent sized one, but still, you're limited to that space. Just an all-out really cool thing to see. And this is called the Peregrine 2 is what it was called. But again, Guinness World Record for the fastest battery-powered quadcopter. So he could have went with a commercial one, but he's got a 3D printed one. So it's not even for the category of 3D printed, it's battery operated. So just another cool thing. And it was actually printed on an X1C. And then the frames were CNC carbon fiber. So it's got that, structure there. But again, just a really neat thing that he did with it. Next up, we're going to talk about 3D printed medicine and supplements. This I thought was really neat is that they're actually using it not only to formulate medicines, mix medicines together for those that have to have, extra doses or multiple doses of one thing, whether it be for older people, younger kids. They're able to do pills, they're able to do gummies, they're able to do just, like I said, vitamin supplements added in. So that way you can get a specific plan for each individual. That's where the 3D printing comes in nice, because then they can change it on the fly. They're not doing a mass manufacturing of one pill and then switching all the whole factory over or the line over to do another pill and then creating thousands of them. They can do, and eventually this could be in pharmacies. A pharmacy, then rather than having all this stock of all these different medicines, prescriptions, they can generate their own. They can mix that stuff up, formulate it, and make hopefully good tasting for the kids gummies. I would imagine they can pretty much add about anything to it. So I thought it was pretty cool. This is actually by a Singapore-based company called Craft and Health. It extrudes the paste, basically a paste for the medicine and the pills. It was developed on a Craft Make 3D printer. So they're making their own printer. I think the extruder had a weird name, Helvetica or something like that, but I didn't write that down. So they're starting to do everything in house. Right now it's in development, but if this gets out there, this, number one, it's going to reduce cost because then they don't have to do thousands of pills. They can do specialized, and maybe eventually, I mean, medicine wise probably not, but maybe the supplements and vitamins in home. Make your own supplements if you're on a diet, or if you're just wanting, those vitamins, or certain people have certain vitamin deficiencies. You can fill that void with these. You can make your custom ones. Again, medicine you're probably not going to be able to do at home for obvious reasons, but it just, the options are endless there. They're actually looking to offer eventually a repository, just like printables, like Thingiverse, where people can submit their formulas. So you can know that I need, vitamin B12 and vitamin C. Here's the formula. This is what you mix together for the paste. Throw it in there, extrude, make those pills, make those chewables or the gummies. So that is awesome. That it's keeping kind of an open source idea, especially, pharmaceutical market is an expensive market. Maybe this will bring it down for those, that don't have the funds to get the medicine they need, or even just the vitamins and supplements they need. So I thought it was just a really, really cool idea. And this is actually a picture of the example of what they have printed on their printer. So next up, we're going to talk about Bambu Lab. You know me, I'm a sucker for Bambu Lab. This is just Bambu Lab Studio upgrade. For those that are already using it, you know what's out there. But they had 80 updates and improvements and bug fixes for the app, which is a huge update. I narrowed it down to just a few because I wasn't going to talk about 80 updates. They have native integration of Maker World. So when you first open it up and use that, had like the featured models. Now you're actually going to be able to browse Maker World through the studio, download through the studios. That way you're not having to open up a browser in the studio. You just got it all in one place. Also multi-device management, including sending one print to all printers. If you're, like a lot of people, you have multiple Bambus, you can actually have, say you have one item you want to get multiple of, you can send it to all printers, whether you got 2, 5, 10, print that same thing over and over easily, rather than having to send each one. And you guys know it doesn't take a whole long time, but you don't want to click through and send and send and send. So I thought that was a really cool option. For those people that love multi-material or multicolor, they now have the option for importing object files with color. This is going to be more probably for the modelers. I don't know, what the go-to file type is for those that model, or what apps do what file types. I've seen a lot of object files out there, OBJ files. So it's going to be neat to have them painted in that, not just having to have a customized 3MF file. I haven't toyed with that. I haven't seen any models that way, but I thought it was a pretty cool addition. Also, they've had scarf seams added to the studio. Now it's improved. They're just gonna keep improving that to the point that hopefully we eventually don't have to worry about people asking, what is this little seam that's in my print? Well, it's the Z seam. Now we're gonna be able to hide it a lot better. Eventually, maybe just all together. So with that, it's also gonna have a new pressure advanced calibration pattern to help for fine tuning those filaments if you're having any type of problems with printing. And then last but not least, it has crosshatch infill pattern. It's a new infill. It's supposed to be faster. I've messed with it just for a couple models. It hasn't been. They might have to be tweaking that a little bit, but just another option for infill. And I'm sure we're going to see better use cases, and also where eventually maybe it will speed up the prints rather than taking a decent amount of extra time compared to even gyroid and cubic. So we'll see as we wait for more updates. Next up, do-it-yourself chicken. Who doesn't like chicken? Who doesn't like fried chicken? Now, while this image that you see here is just a stock image of chicken, there are engineers at Columbia University that are 3D printing layers of pureed chicken while simultaneously cooking said chicken with lasers. I didn't think it got much cooler than that. We've seen some 3D printed steak stuff that's kind of a paste. It's supposed to taste really good. This way of cooking, it's supposed to retain twice as much moisture as typical cooked chicken. And then the chicken itself will shrink half as much while retaining similar flavor to chicken. Now, would I try it? 100%. Will it make it mainstream? We'll see. Either way, again, just another cool addition to 3D printing, to to where they can take it. We've seen a couple food things, obviously Cocoa Press. Who doesn't love chocolate? You know, I'll eat printed chocolate all day long. So, well, we'll see where the chicken goes. Maybe eventually, you know, have an extruder that has barbecue sauce that maybe baste it while you're cooking it. We'll see. But I just thought that was a pretty cool, cool story. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Autodesk. This is going to be more for the modelers. Myself, I'm a tinker. I dabble in modeling, and with that, I dabble in remixing things. So this, though, I thought was cool. I mean, we're seeing AI and so many different things. Obviously, 3D modeling, it's a given that it's going to continue to grow in that area. Autodesk has had a AI plugin before. I think it was a Fusion plugin, and it was a free generative plugin. This one's going to be a little bit more for professional based, but it's able to do textures along with the models, and then the shape, of course, and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Whether it's going to be fine-tuned and maybe a consumer level, or if they're going to keep it separate from the Fusion plugin. I'm not really sure on that. It's just currently in research, but I thought it was just, it's cool to see all these updates coming through across the board on all the modeling software. AI has been added to Photoshop for a while, all that thing. So we're going to see it added more and more. We're going to see it implemented in everything. So we'll see where it goes. Maybe the people like myself who aren't the greatest at modeling, but have great ideas in my head, this is going to be a way of possibly getting that, maybe a text to model translation there. So we'll see where that goes. So that is it for the news. We're going to go ahead and move on over to the print highlights. As always, we scour the show off channel in our Discord at discord.polymaker.com if you're not already there. When you share, we ask if you can try to always put what the model is, if it's available somewhere to download, and if you like what filament you use. We always like to give credit to where credit is due. Some of these I don't have the credit. I wasn't able to message and reach out to the users that submitted them, but we're going to show them off anyway because I thought they were pretty cool. This, of course, is done in a Starlight. This is by Alaric Van Velsen, and it's not officially titled Cool Castle House. He just said, hey, this is a cool castle house developed by a team that is working on a cityscape. I don't know if this is a school project or a personal project. Again, didn't have time to get the information there, but thought was cool because I mean, it's just showing the teenagers getting into 3D modeling. I've got my kids dabbling in 3D modeling. My daughter is super artsy, crafty, and just has a great imagination. I hope to see her start building things like this, developing it, and just seeing where it goes. Eventually getting in the likes of Photosmint, Wexter, Clock Spring, all the greats. So we'll see. But this, again, it's by an unknown teen. It's not available anywhere to download, but I thought it was a neat print to share. Next up, we are going to see one by Builder's Mark. He actually submitted this on the LM show's Monday Makes. They do every week where they have a new make every Monday. They try to find models that actually don't have a whole lot of makes. That way they can support them, whether it be a new modeler or one that maybe just hasn't been in the limelight yet. So and also encouraging people to try to print something cool, try to think outside the box, whether you do new colors, different color schemes. So this is his submission. I thought it was neat. There's another green car that we've seen a few episodes back. Of course, there's a larger RC, but it made me think of this, and it was just a very clean. It's in the LM Dark Sparkle Green, Metallic Silver, and Black, Galaxy Black, I believe. So just it's a kit car. And again, submitted on the LM show. If you guys are a part of that, a fun little thing that you can win some filament. The winner always gets to pick the next model every week. So just a cool thing. This model is by Jerry Yee. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it is available on printables. Next up, we're going to look at another unknown I could not find. I tried scouring the internet. I tried things and Yegi and all that good stuff. Printables, Mega World. I could not find this model anywhere. So I'm not sure who modeled it. I'd love to give credit to him, but it was submitted by agent Michael Scarn. Did print it obviously in a luminous, which I love the luminous. They're amazing colors, and the glow is just bright. I love that he submitted both photos so we can see the difference, and that way we can kind of showcase it. And it is just a very good print, and even though it's a solid color, it's awesome. I mean, you can use it as a nightlight for a children's room or a nightlight for an adult room, depending what you're into. And next up, we're going to look at Jar Jar. This is modeled by none other than Wexter, submitted by K2 Kevin. And there was a couple submissions here on the Jar Jar and the show off. This one I did like the colors he used, a little bit different. He went with PLA Pro Dark K2 Gray, slate marble and black. I thought it was looked really good. Of course, with that photo, the angle, the lighting, making it all look professional. I had to pick it, and I had no choice. So he was pulling my arm on that one. But just again, beautiful print. This is available on printables if you'd like to download it yourself. I know I was reading kind of the text on this. I guess at one point Wexter said he would never do a Jar Jar because he's done, of course, some other characters, Star Wars characters. But Kevin was happy to see him do it, and of course was probably one of the first to print it. So last but not least, we are going to take a look at print by XD Gaming. He labeled it, I think, Mechagodzilla, which is pretty much what it is. It wasn't labeled, but I'm pretty sure, looking at all the photos, and I've got the model of this one myself, it's the Atomic Dragon by Toymaker 3D. And this, I'm showing this because I want to kind of do something with this one. I've seen him starting to post like progress pics. So this is just a head. There is an entire articulating body of this model, and I think it is an astounding model. So what I like to do is I kind of show his progression. I'm hoping he continues showing that progression so we can continue and you don't just see a head. But maybe each week or every other week, however we post, I'd like to show this off because I'd like to see you guys see that progression, because there's a lot of pieces to this thing, but it should come out pretty neat. So thank you to XD Gaming. And again, this is from Toymaker 3D, which is available on toymaker3d.com. I don't believe he posts on any repositories, but you can go there, and there's always coupon codes. You can get them pretty cheap. Well worth the models. There's Godzilla ones. There's Iron Shell. I've got a lot of models that I haven't printed yet, but I'll get around to it, I promise. But with that said, hopefully the show has been going pretty smooth so far. I haven't got any major messages. Appreciate you guys hanging around. Stay tuned for the commercials. Like I said, there is a new community submitted commercial to start it all off with. And when we're back, we'll be talking to our next maker. And give me just a moment here. I'll have to do this manually. Apologize. And we'll be right back after these commercials.
Whoa, I'd love to get into 3D printing, but I live here on the sun where the UV rays are nuts. Wait just one moment there, strapping young chap. Have you ever heard of Polymaker ASA? Polymaker ASA is UV resistant, so it is the perfect application for printing near or around the sun. No way, bro. Yes way, brosif. Here, try it out. Radical, man. If you need a weather-resistant material, make sure you check out Polymaker's ASA. Printing on the sun is no problem at all with Polymaker ASA.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Polly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
And welcome back to the show. We're here to meet the maker. So hopefully you guys are excited. For those that got the sneak peek at the beginning of the show to see who we're going to be talking with, bear with me. We're going to switch over and meet her. And I hope that the audio works. You guys are going to have to let me know right away. So let's get right to meeting this next maker. Please welcome in Courtney from Filament Stories. How's it going? I'm hoping they can hear you. I can hear you. I'm hoping they can hear you. So we'll see here. Nick is typing. No. Okay, Nick, can you hear my audio? Okay. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I know. Okay, no audio for Courtney. Okay. One moment. Okay, so they hear me. So it's give me just a minute. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, because I can hear you. So I just got to figure out where the. We just got to figure out where we got to put you out. Bear with me just a moment, folks. we're gonna get her in here. Yes, and okay, yep. So sign. I'm sure she knows sign language, but I don't know it well enough. There you go. So you can. Thank you. I think that's thank you. Yeah. No, let's see here. Why is it not giving me this? Settings. Switch to ASL. Yeah. Thank you, Mark Bananas and YouTube. In the meantime, check out. Yes. Bear with me, folks. I apologize. This is the only fubbub, then we're doing pretty good. But I just got to figure out. Let's try this.
How can I entertain everybody? Okay.
Now, can you guys hear her now?
Wait. Now?
Hold on. I think I might got it.
Now?
Maybe. We'll see. Anybody? Yes. Okay.
Yay!
Is she loud or is she good? I can adjust the audio.
Am I loud? Am I loud?
All good. Okay. I'm getting all good from Nick. So, okay. So everybody, welcome in Courtney from Filament Stories.
Hey, and you know what? I feel your pain here because we're running the same thing. We have just revamped all of the hardware in our studio. And so the cameras and the look at I got my new mic, and it is a complex system. And every time we think we've got one thing done, there's another one. For instance, before we got on tonight, we had an echo, and so my mouth's moving and then the sound's coming delayed. And so my technical support was pulling his hair out right before this. So yeah, but technology marches forward. Anyway, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I was definitely excited. I've got to interact with you at a couple of rep festivals, and it's been fun. Your energy is great. So I'm like, perfect fit for the show. So welcome in, but we'll get right to the questions since I probably run them a little bit behind, but I think we're good. Okay. Nick says we're better on audio.
I will do my best to not do what I always do, which is go long.
Oh yeah, no, that's, I do the same thing. So I know how it is, but let's just start off. How and when did you start 3D printing?
I started 3D printing. I was trying to think about that. It's 2019. It might have been 2018. I need to go back.
And then what got you into 3D printing? Was it something specific or just kind of a hobby that you wanted to start up?
It is hey, switch me back to the front, please. Hold on. I gotta go. So it was, you might have heard her in the background. My daughter is over that way. And so my husband had said, let's get a 3D printer a number of years before. And I said two things. One, they're expensive. And two, we don't know how to model. We could just order something from Amazon before we'd be able to figure out how to model it and fix it. And that was, he just was like, okay, fine. Well, a couple years later, I needed something, and my daughter's blind, which it is well known at this point. And I looked online and I was like, oh my goodness, there are all these models, so many models that I can print. And I was really excited about it. And I came back to my husband. I said, hey, let's get a 3D printer. And he didn't even roll his eyes at me. And from there, it turns out that 3D printing was in addition, as you all know. I mean, it's the most open-ended thing you can imagine, right?
Oh,
And
most
so
definitely,
I just
yes.
ran with it.
Oh yeah. Now, so when you first talked about it, I know that you had the same thing that most people did of it's too expensive, didn't want to get into it. Did you do
Yep.
any research at that time to see if there were models and they just weren't models, or you just were like, it's not something I want to get into, and you hadn't looked into it and maybe missed out?
So from a 3D printer standpoint, we didn't know enough to pick a printer, right? But what we also didn't know was there's this theoretical, it would be great to solve problems, but we didn't have a specific problem that needed solving. We were like, well, if we had this tool on hand, we could use it to solve problems like just a boring one, the foot on a chair, uh,
Yeah.
on a stool broke, right? But we didn't have anything specific. And so we were we wanted a tool like I want a CNC, but right, but what am I going to do with it? And so we needed a purpose. And that was when I was like, I have something I want to print, a lot of things. And that was it.
There you go. Now, with that, when you started the 3D printing, well, first off, I guess, what was your first printer? Do you remember? It
Yeah,
wasn't
it
that long
was
ago.
a Cheedy, QIDI. I hear it's pronounced Cheedy, and I'm trying to remember which model it was, but we did a lot of research, and we just didn't know. We didn't know what polymers we would be wanting to print or need to print, and we also wanted flexibility. So it was enclosed, and it had a flexible build plate. Did not do auto leveling, but I think for the time, it did a fairly good job.
Now, did it ever get to the point that it was like frustrating that you thought of maybe just getting out of it, or were you pretty much stuck in that? Like, hey, I'm 3D printing, I
Oh
love it,
no.
I'm done. It's ready.
No, no, that was it. I was hooked. I
The
was
same
hooked. In
bug.
fact, yeah, it was really the reason we got the second printer, and by we, I mostly mean because I was getting up in the middle of the night when prints were finishing so that I could maximize the print time, right? And so I was like, if we had two of these, think of what we could
You
do.
can print even
And that
more.
is a very slippery slope. And so, yeah.
Now, how many printers have you grown into now?
I think I was trying to think because there's printers and then there's active printers.
Yeah.
I probably only have 10 printers that I actively print with, but we have more. We have them in the attic, and some of them, like I still have that Cheedy. It's huge. It's massive. It weighs a ton. Although they're still producing printers, and they
Yeah.
look largely similar in shape to the one that we got. But I look at it now. In fact, I got a Prusa Mark III, and when it came in the box, I thought that something was wrong because it was so small in comparison. Because the enclosure for the Cheedy was massive, and then the build plate was sort of just in there.
Tiny,
And
yeah.
then here's this Prusa that comes out. Yeah. So, but nope, that was it, and it had a bigger build volume than
Now,
that
did you
massive
buy
Cheedy.
the pre-built Prusa, or was that your first like fully assembled, like that you had to assemble
No,
yourself?
I was not confident that I would not mess it up. And I didn't
Mm.
know enough at that point to I had some people that I was connected to in the community, but I really hadn't gotten I had not done a lot more than clearing nozzle clogs and replacing parts on the hot end. And so as far as building something, I thought I don't want to mess this thing up. So I built my first printer later, and then after that was Vorons. And hold on. Are you coming by?
A special guest?
I got lemonade.
Okay, this is my daughter,
Hello,
and
hello.
Hi,
this is Reese, and this is Nicor,
and Matisse.
and Matisse the dog is here, and we have some cables that are right there. So we are in our mechanical room, and it looks big, but as you all know, it's a lot of times it's very deceptive.
It's the human
So
game of
you have to
Tetris.
yeah, you have to shimmy by to get here, and I've told the story so many times and I don't know if you had heard it, but no, um, stop. If you knock me off this live stream,
I'm not going to.
We'll wait around.
but
Don't worry.
yeah, we'll figure it out. But I have no idea what I was about to say. What was I saying?
It's about the setup and everything of the wires and
Oh, the
Oh,
wires and everything. Yeah, I was gonna say, we're here. If the toilet flushes and we're recording or someone starts to run water, we have to stop and do the takeover again because the water may actually, you
does it
can
fix it up?
see that blue thing? I don't know if you can see the blue thing. That's a filter, and so the water main comes in
Okay,
right
yep.
over there. Yeah. So anyway, the water exits the house around here. Yeah. Anyway, so it is very, very functional in here, but it is a lot of purposes all wedged into one.
So is that
Quick
your
question.
basically the only maker space in the house, or has it like expanded out into other rooms?
No, it's expanded. It's
Yeah.
expanded out. Yep.
I,
Yep.
I,
It
I don't
has.
think there's any stopping that. So
I know there's no stopping that. And we do have, if we have another maker that comes to visit, the bonus is that there are printers in the guest room and you can use them. If you're not a maker, I have to plan what I'm printing so that I don't
you
need
can't use the
those
bedroom
printers.
printers.
Right. You
Yeah.
can't use the bedroom printer. Okay, hold on. Can you bend down and get that? I was going to say, I was just using the back up. There you go. I was just using the new
squishy ball.
poly dryer. Yeah, I've
good
been using the
product.
poly dryer for a couple of days. Yeah, it's right over here. I just brought it in, but I've been using it for a couple of days back and forth. It's been great. I didn't mean to sidetrack, but Reese is holding something.
Is that
I
done
seen you in the
Yeah.
beginning of the show before we started the show. I seen you bouncing it. So what
Yes.
material is that new?
Yes. So this is interesting. This is
Can
from
it be my pet named Bob?
you can name this Bob when I'm done, but this is from Minrian. The company is Minrian, and the filament is Wizdream. And so we said, sure, we'd be glad to work with you. And they sent filament, not saying that it was filament. So I opened up the first box, and it says that this is filament to print airless basketball.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that's really neat. They have that. And then I opened the second box and the third box, and all three of them, they have a special filament to do that. Now, I have, as you might notice here, have
see the
some
supports.
failures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it supports. So I'm working on, but I did a 30%, and it aside from hitting this is really, it's pretty neat.
And I think that's because they have it. It's for sale now. I think on Amazon it was like $60. I think if I
the filament is 60. The airless basketball is 250. I believe
you can buy it already printed from them. So is that one you printed, or is that one they sent with it? Like a
no, this gift? Is when I was running into adhesion issues, and so I'm messing with different build plates, and I did a video last night that was like, the Vision Miner, that
polymer.
Oh yeah, that stuff's great. It'll hold anything. It didn't hold this. So I added a little more lubricant. Yeah, it didn't hold it. And so I'm also, but and we're sidetracked on 3D printing stuff. It's a very solid, I'm looking at their printer settings because they said, do this. And it's a really solid bit. I may change it because I think it's constricting and pulling it up. So I'm going to make some changes, but it's pretty neat. I'm going to let you do one question and then.
Okay, just one.
One.
What were these supposed to be?
That is the beginning of the basketball. That will have holes in it. Here, feel this one. You can feel the hexagonal holes there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not really hexagons, but whatever.
What? Oh my gosh, Clock Spring is here. You just said they're not really hexagons. So, yeah. Okay. So I am going to, I'm going to escort you out.
But can I have it?
You may.
Thanks for stopping by, though, Reese, if she can hear me. I don't know if you have a studio. Oh, yeah, you don't have in-ear monitors. So, yep.
Thank you for stopping by. Nicor said, thank you for stopping by. Here is your lemonade. Wait, stop.
Next time, bring it up for the class.
Thank you. All right, can you shut the door behind you too? Or have Dad shut the door? Okay. Yeah, we are, I'm serious. We are wedged in. And so in order for me to be able to see you, you're here and the chat is here. Thanks guys for being patient with me there. And so our entire recording deck is there, but in order for me to be able to see you, we had to pull the laptop around, which means that the cables are just like drug right across. And then I told you there's a little wedging area, and if I could turn I can't turn the camera, but you could see you do like this to get by, and the cables are right there. And Reese is an extremely careful person, but this was a very messy situation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
for anybody.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much of a tug to pull a cable out of a laptop, right? And that would it would kill the stream either way. So in any case, thank you all for being so understanding. Now, I sidetracked you entirely, but can you tell me what your next question is? Because Yeah,
Well,
I have
so
a story I want to tell.
yeah, I was gonna say I've got that in there if you're talking about what we
Okay,
talked
okay.
about. Yep. So we'll get.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously now you do the social medias, you do the TikTok, you do YouTube. We've talked a little bit about some of the future plans. What got you into that aspect of it? Was it just you seen other people 3D printing, or what made you decide to get into that,
Oh, so you mean to go from short form to long form?
or just to get into
Or
even the short form, just into
okay.
being putting
Oh,
yourself
the
out
short
there?
form. Yeah. So I loved filament. I had like 40 rolls or something, spools, and my husband said, "This is ridiculous." And I was like, "They're all different colors." And they were. But I just love the filament. And I was thinking about it. And there's a couple of people said different things. And I was mostly frustrated because, and I've told this story so many times, and it has changed dramatically. We are a little bit, I think we're hitting right now, like this week or the next 3 years that we've been doing filament stories videos. And I was frustrated because you would see a lot, and some still do. If you look on Amazon, there will be 5 pictures and 4 of them will be the spool. And sometimes it's a
It
gradient.
doesn't, yeah, it
And
doesn't show. Yeah, I mean, even with the best
yeah.
lighting, it's just that you can only see so
uh,
much.
And I think the spool is lovely, but I am interested in seeing the filament, not the spool. And so I'm just foolish enough to say, I'm getting this thing. I want to see what it looks like. And so I had thought about it, and a couple other people said, and Clock Spring was one of them. And, maybe we could put some videos out. And so the original thought was, not knowing, I am not a big social media person. So on my personal accounts, I just didn't know much. And so I got an education on shorts, on Instagram Reels, on I can't tell you how much time Mihai. So I don't know if you Mars Gizmo, if you know Mars Gizmo, Mihai Steinmeier is his brother, and he also does social media. He has sort of stepped down for a little bit, but he spent so much time telling me things in a very forceful way because I was like, ah, yeah, no, and he was like, no, if you
This is
do a
how.
widescreen video where you're not talking and nobody wants to see 2 minutes of a filament with print settings. No
Sure, yeah,
one.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
you
it's not
yeah,
exciting.
it's not interesting, and he was like, the short form content is kind of like a drug. You want that next, high, and that next high is a fun, exciting, or
Yeah.
controversial or anger, whatever video. And so he gave us really good feedback, and Clockstring was the one that was like, "You're gonna have to talk." And so we entered into shorts, and it was the right thing to do because 1 minute is enough. Now, I do think that it is incredibly hard to talk about, and I like to do more than one model if possible. So I want to give
Mm,
credit to those designers. I want to talk about the model, but I'm here to talk about the filament. So mostly I let the filament stand on its own by showing close up pictures of how it
yeah.
prints. Right. And then I'll say something about it because, um, but, so that's how we got into it. But I have had for a long time now wanted to do more long form content. And it is funny when we start to film something that's long form, when we're filming and when we're editing, our plan is the boom, 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 right?
Yep.
How efficient can you be? And like at the beginning of this video here, you had a 5-minute countdown. Your 5-minute countdown is 5 times longer than our videos, right?
Just a
And so
countdown, as exciting as it is.
just the
Yeah.
countdown. Yeah. And so we have to like take a deep breath, and I'm not really good at that, and figure out how we can deliver the same information that we would, making it interesting, but also not, exhausting
Oh, yeah.
people.
Yeah, engaging
Um,
a little bit, and like you said,
yeah.
yeah, making me,
Yeah.
want them, making them want to watch the next one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Watch the next one.
and with you
And
saying
there's
that it
so
was
much.
hard for you to get into the social media stuff, with knowing
Yeah.
just interactions with you, your personality and your energy, that shocks me. I'm surprised it wasn't
So
like I just want to go ahead and I want to put a video out now.
yeah, no, but it is odd, right? I am very outgoing in person, and I am much more reserved online. Now, as what made it easier is as filament stories, even though it's not just me that is doing all the work. When the videos come out and everything that happens, it's there's multiple of us, right? This is my husband and me, and we also have 2 other people that work with us. But I don't have a problem. It's a whole different thing. As filament stories, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know that I would want to put a video out on my personal account. Oh, no, I'll pass. I'll come do Filament Stories videos.
Just be
But
filming stories on the internet.
yeah, yeah, the first video I did where I showed my face was hard because, and it was way back. I thought that people were going to say something, and my son walked into the room here, and I was doing like take 73, holding the phone. I didn't tell my husband, and he said, "Mom, are you doing a face reveal? You have to tag it face reveal." And I was like, "Oh, you're not helping with the stress."
Yeah,
But I
I'm
put the
already
video
nervous.
out. Yeah,
Mhm.
no one said anything. Like, "Oh, this is what you look like." And that was the most comforting thing,
Oh
that
yeah.
it
Oh
was
yeah, because
fine,
you're
right?
your own worst critic. So yeah, getting
Yeah,
online, putting yourself out there, it's like,
yeah.
what am I getting into? Like, what kind of attack or stupid thing is gonna be said? And yeah, that's
Yeah, so it was just the next videos from Filament Stories, and so I really, that was like a big relief and a comfort, and then it's just been easier since there, and I really enjoy it. So, yeah, and I love doing all the things about filament because obviously and well, that was the other
there's a
thing is
lot.
there were a lot of channels where people were doing printer reviews. They were doing work on printers and hot ends and a lot of printer
All the
reviews.
mechanical
And
stuff.
yeah, mechanical stuff, and I just loved the filament. I mean, that's what I have told people so many times. You can have the best printer in the world or the worst printer in the world. It doesn't really matter. What
Yeah.
matters is that if you have a model, when you're done, it's the filament.
Yeah, the end product is the filament. Yeah.
It's the filament, and so I wanted to focus on that, and there were so many, and then I would chase them. The amount of time I spent browsing, the web for filament, I would be like, "Oh, I just found something new. I just," and then I wonder if I can order, and it's from some country, and, "Oh, it's $50 in shipping." Okay, maybe not. But and I just loved, yeah. And then
Then
Tom Sunlatter and Stefan, they would have videos, and I would say, "Oh, I need that filament."
yep, you get a sneak peek of
Yeah.
something, and then you got to track it down.
Yeah, track it down and to be a European filament. But we have about 50%. I need to go back and look at the statistics. It changes month to month. Like every now and then we will have, I'm trying to remember, Indonesia, for some reason on TikTok was like a huge portion of our viewers for several months, and I don't know why. And then we would get just different countries. So I really want this to be an international way to show filament. I love showing filament from other countries because I know we do have 50% of our viewers are not US,
Oh
but it
yeah.
is tricky. It is tricky to show that it's so much easier to get filament here, and 50% of us are US or Canada.
Well, that's the thing
So
too is through 3D printing itself, 3D modeling, printing, filament, everything. It's a universal language. I mean, it's not bound by, well, I don't speak that
yes.
language. It's I can just show you, hey, look at this. You either
Yep.
think awesome or not awesome. Maybe you get inspiration from it. Maybe you want to print it yourself. So yeah, there's
That
a cool things to it.
I mean, that's the thing. So when I was 8 years old, my parents were professors at a university, and there was a 8-week European
Oh, like
learning abroad.
exchange student
So
thing.
yeah, and I went with them. So they took a whole gaggle of students with them, and I went that summer, and I was driving them nuts because we were on the bus and we were going to the next castle or whatever, and we went and they said, "Hey, why don't you try origami?" and found some origami books, and that started me also having another lifelong love of something. And just like filament, I have a huge collection of origami books. This is not atypical. Filament wasn't the first thing I was collecting, but origami is also very similar, right? You can see
You
what
can
someone
create.
else has created,
Yep.
and you can take any color paper, right? A very simple medium, and you can create that. And you can create it in any color. And so, and it's also very mathematical, which I love. I mean, slicers are so much fun. I love slicing models and seeing if I can print it faster or more. Yeah.
Now, have you found
So,
yourself enjoying even more now that we have the multicolor aspect of things? Do you like painting a
yeah.
lot of stuff? I know a lot of stuff you do want to try to do that single color so you can show off that
Yeah.
filament, but
Yeah,
uh,
actually, I had someone here yesterday, and they were asking about something, and I was piling through because I give away models. I've never sold a model, but because it's fun to give a model. To me, that's fun.
a smile
People
on a
who are
kid's
selling
face
models,
or anybody. Yep.
yeah, I think it is absolutely fantastic. People are making a living 3D printing and selling models. I think that's fantastic. So, but for me, I just have joy in giving it away. And it's since I'm busy doing filament stories, it's an easy way. But I was like, gosh, I've got to find a multicolor print here to show you and give you one. But I was, before we got the first 3D printer, that Cheedy, I said to my husband, what do you mean it prints in one color? No, 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 no. Surely they look for more printers. And he was like, seriously, they print in one color, right? Which is the beginning of the education of how 3D printing works that we all understand now.
Yep.
And, but when the palette too, I was like, oh, I'm getting that. And the palette too, I was like, this is so neat to see how the palette 2 worked. That was not very reliable. Clock Spring, if you're still here, he and I had fun with the palette 2. Palette 3 was announced. My palette 2 broke in the middle of the announce. But I was like, that's it, I'm getting it. And the palette 3 was really interesting too and was more reliable and just a whole different way. And then the Bamboo came out and turned the world upside down.
Made
And
it too
we are
easy.
all standing there looking at it saying, just this works.
Yeah.
It works and it's accurate. And it is, been a revolution. And so I love the multicolor models. The Prusa XL is I like because it has the ability to do it without as much waste, but that's a whole different price point and
Yeah.
is, I think, in a different class, but it's a beautiful machine. It's, I don't know if you can see it. It's
Oh yeah.
there.
Yep. Nope. I see the
Yeah, I
little
got my
the
A1
tubes.
Mini there, and that, yeah, and then other printers well, but that's a beautiful print. But I love the multicolor printing. But you're right. Typically, I try to show off in our videos a single filament if that's what the video is about, or if it is a brand and there are multiple that I can use with
You can
that
show them off. Yeah.
brand. Yeah, I try to keep it. I mean, a lot of times for accent colors, if I need an orange and a blue, I'll just grab something, but the focus needs to be what I'm showing, right?
Now,
Because I'm already have to have put a bunch of links up, and I'm trying to make things simple for people to
easy.
find.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
with
'cause
talking about brands of filament,
yeah.
how'd you first find Polymaker, more specifically Polyterra?
Yeah. So Clock Spring, you're here. And I can't remember. I was going to ask you, did you find Polyterra first or did I find Polyterra? Because I had Polymaker filament, right? That was fine. So I may have been the one to find it, but Clock Spring also might have found it. And so we got it, we printed with it, and we were like, this is soft. It prints really well. And at the time, there were, I think, 8 or 9 colors. And filament stories had been going on for a while. I'm probably 6 months. I'm not sure. Clock Spring, it's been a long time. We've been working together now. But Clock Spring said, I don't think I've done anything to sort of say, you said something like can I do something to do a video with filament stories? And so he came up with the donut that is the donut box.
Yep.
And I remember Clock Spring he showed me a picture of something and I was like, what is that donut box? What is that model? And he said, oh, that's a really old model. And he was like, oh, hold on, I'll redo it. And so we were like, you know what we could do? Clock Spring was like, sprinkles. And that meant that we had to buy all of the Polyterra that existed, I think at that point. I might have not gotten brown. And so we got all of them and had the best time printing and making. And I think I have 1 or 2 of them left, but I probably printed 15 or 16 of them. And when people see a box, you open, I went to.
Yeah, because that's the one where the icing pulls off of it, right? The icing is the lid.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
The icing's the lid. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, yeah, or it comes in half. I'm trying to remember the icing comes in half. Yeah. But it's big and it has magnets. And so I remember that I went to Dunkin' Donuts and I think if I had just asked for a box, the lady would have given it to me. But I was like, so this is 3D printed. If I give this to you, will you give me a box? And she said, I'll give you 2
little
boxes.
barter and a free
2
donut.
boxes. Yeah. So, yeah. But
Yep.
so that was it. Clock Spring. I don't know.
I remember the donuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick says he remembers the donuts model. Which real
Yeah,
quick too, I know Nick posted in chat is anybody that's got some questions for Courtney. We'll move to community questions here in a minute. If start asking there, Nick will tally them up if I don't catch it. Hopefully he does, and we'll get a couple quick questions in before we do rapid fire and end it all here.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, this is fun. Thank you for having me on your show.
No, thank you for
Yeah.
coming. Like I said, it's the energy is a good fit. It helps me, like I said, as I start out with like some of the people that I knew in the community, some of the application ambassadors I've worked with to get comfortable. So now it's nice. The last several guests is just kind of going out of, I don't even want to say comfort zone, because I've got to the point now, talking to the camera is not too hard. It's just doing a lot of ums and uhs that I got to cancel out.
Yeah.
But other than that is just, I've met you before, but just knowing, a little bit more detailed story. Of course, a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of videos out there you put of different things, and maybe rehashing stories, but even the stories that I rehear, it's enjoyable. My one,
I know. I go.
I think my one fun memory was, I think it was ShareFest at Creality at Maryland last year, and we were talking, and I had my son with me, and I just happened to say his name. I won't dox your son, but say your name, like, wait, that's my son's name. And it was like, oh, whoa, wait, awesome, that's my son's name. And it was fun. Like I said, your energy, it was just always fun. Me and my son, when we left, we were laughing about it. He's like, she's really fun. I said, yeah, she is. She's very fun.
I have had people come up to me at, I guess it was, I'm trying to remember, I've had multiple people come up and say, I wanted to see if you were really like that in person.
See if you're
And
evil,
it is,
like, oh, it's just a cover.
yeah, it was just like, although a lot of times we film late at night, and because we do some other work during the day, and the children come home, and we try to spend time with the children when we have dinner, and then it's the next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock, and we really should film that video. And so it's really tiring. But yeah, I really love what I do. It
Oh,
has
yeah.
not gotten tired.
Yeah.
The models are getting better, the filament is getting better, and I've told so many people, my job is pretty easy. There are amazing models out there. They're free in a lot of cases. The paid ones, I think, are well worth it. I think
Oh,
supporting
yeah.
designers is such a good thing to do. And then the filament is I mean, back when I started, I remember we weren't sure. The question was, does this filament print with our printer? Because we didn't know. And I mean brand, like, does this PLA? We didn't know who to order PLA from. If it would, but now most filament prints fine.
Oh yeah, everything's just well engineered, well formulated. But
Yeah.
let's see, we got our first let's see here. First
We
community
have a
question
question?
from I am a fan of delicious flavor. Do you have a room specifically for filament?
Yes, I do. I have a closet under the stairs. It is extremely full. It is overflowing. In fact, I have been hiding places, filament, and I keep finding new places to wedge it, and so I'm way out of space. But yeah, so I started, and I call it the closet under the stairs, the Harry Potter closet, because
Yeah.
this is in the basement, and we had a little gray kit pin thing that we would put out, and we put the kids in the closet and had toys in there when they were babies, and they would stand up and hold on to the thing. But when they were older and weren't needing that closet for little kids toys, I filled it with filament. So it's not a room, but I had a friend that called
Yeah.
it the filament fallout shelter.
There you go. The filament
Yeah.
shelter. Next
Yeah,
question we
and
got
it's
is
the center of the house. If we were to have like a we don't really have them here, but a hurricane. No, sorry, a tornado.
tornado.
That's where we would go. And then if anything really hit, we would die because all the filament would land
I
on
mean,
us.
maybe it would protect you. A wall of filament. Who knows? Let's not test it.
Yeah, no.
But next question is from Mark Banis. I'd love to know Courtney's experience with HueForge in terms of filaments tried. Have you messed much with
Oh,
HueForge?
yes, yes. I want to work with it more. I have what's the name of the thing?
PD1?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, I have that, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet. So I don't know that I don't have any experience that is really outside of what is the most common stuff, like yours. We've got the Bamboo Labs. I've mostly worked with that, and I haven't done a video on it yet because I really want to. So I apologize. I don't have a good answer for you on that.
That's right. You're still learning. A lot of us are. Like,
I know
I
I've
haven't
been
messed with it
very
a whole lot.
boring with that. And I think part of that is because what I need to do is I need to find, because that's right where if I need like 42 hours in the day, but what I'd love to do is exactly that. I'd like to pick some filaments that I love and then backwards find what would be a HueForge picture that would look gorgeous with that filament. That's what I'd really like to do.
You have to match it up. Let's see,
Yeah,
then,
backwards it in.
we got a question from Dan Adams. Will we see you at Murph?
Oh, no, and I'll tell you why. I am not at Murph. I'm whispering. She's probably listening. So my daughter she competes every year in the Braille Challenge, and she made it to nationals this
Oh,
year, which means
awesome.
we are going to Los Angeles and we're going to watch, well, not watch because she's in a room, but she's going to compete. And so there are in the US, Canada, and the UK 50 students that make it. It's I don't think kindergarten, but it goes all the way up through 12th grade, and she is one of 10 in her age range, and
That
she
is
is so
awesome.
excited because she has made friends this is her 3rd time making it, which is just we're really
A
excited and proud of
big,
her.
I
So in
say
any case
proud parent moment for sure.
yeah, proud parent moment, but the first year, I will tell you this, the first year she made it, I was planning on going to Murph. I was like, "That's it, I'm going to Murph." And she made it, and I was so, like, dramatically torn because obviously I want to go see her. Her elementary school clapped her out. The whole school went and clapped, and she walked down the hall, and the day she was
Oh, that's
leaving, it was really
confidence
exciting.
booster extreme.
Yeah, but at the same time, I wanted to go to the Midwest Rep Festival, and I was, like, so disappointed. So, here's this just such a sweet thing, not sad. Not sad at all. Last year when she made it again, she said, "Mom, you didn't get to go to Murph last year, I want you to go." So, I went last year because she told me
You
to
told
go
you that is
instead of going
awesome.
to see her.
You've raised a
I
good
know,
kid
and
then.
then I know, she's so sweet, and then this year, we are meeting up with some other families, and so yeah, and so that but
Nope,
I'm not
understandable.
going.
Yeah.
I know.
And the last community question is from a community member named Polymaker Nicholas. Heard of him
Polymaker
before?
Nick
I've seen him around.
who
He
is
said,
he? Yeah.
yeah, he says, would you be interested in a creator spool? If so, what filament would represent
Creator
you
School.
best?
Oh, a creator school. Oh, you know what? I was gonna ask about that just in general, but because I know that was one of the neat things that you all do. You have creator filament. Oh, that's a tough question. Okay, so I have thought long and hard about that. Obviously, I am a huge rainbow fan, and rainbow gradient, anything like that. Orange is my favorite color. I have never pursued anything because I love all filament, which is a problem.
It's hard to pick. Yeah, like
It's hard to
indecisive.
pick.
Yeah.
It's so hard to pick, but yeah, rainbow would be, I love rainbows. There was an orange in the filament swap at Remerf. Someone turned in, I don't even remember the brand, and I was like, "I need that." It's a brand that's no longer made, I know that whatever it was, and I didn't have a ticket, and somebody gave me a ticket so I could get it because I was like, "I need that orange." So I love orange. That's a
Yeah.
tough question. Does that
Yeah.
help, Polymaker Nicholas,
Well,
whoever you are?
you know what? His gears are always turning. So now that he's got
Yeah.
that information, he can run with it. And I'm sure we'll see what, who knows what the future holds.
We'll see. We'll see
Polymaker
what the
is
future holds.
always developing new filaments. So we'll see where
I
it goes.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna need, like, 4 booths soon to be able to hold all of your scientists.
Oh yeah, no, it's growing and growing. I think we're 402 presented at Rocky Mountain. So yeah, that
That
wasn't
was a
even all.
beautiful
We actually were missing a few of them. So
uh-oh.
the future is bright. So we'll see. Maybe
Future is
bright with
bright.
rainbow filament. Well, we'll see.
I love it.
We'll end off. We got a couple rapid fire questions here, and then I'll let you go.
Okay. Okay.
Nick already asked one of them, so I'm not even going to have to ask that now. But right now, what is your current all-time favorite filament, whether it be a color or type?
Current all-time favorite filament.
That probably
Oh!
changes because you use so much, but you
I
don't have to say
I
Polymaker
have
just
to
because
no,
you're on the show.
I have an answer, but it is, Protopasta Blood of My Enemies.
Okay. Oh yes, that's a very, very beautiful red. I have a spool myself, so
Lo
always in stock.
Love that filament.
Okay, the next
And
up,
so well named. So well named.
it's perfectly named. Now let's see here. With of course, so many awesome models, you've printed so many things. Do you have one that's you consider your favorite or your best print you've ever done?
I think the one that stands out to me in Clock Spring, I forgot what it's called if you're still here. Clock Spring has a dice roller. And so he's done some fun models. And with my daughter, we can put
Fun.
tactile dice in them. And so you put the dice in, you go zgoonk, zgoonk, and they come in and out. And at the time, it was the longest print I'd ever done. It was like 46 hours. And the center internal part disconnected from the bill plate. So I stopped it and I got Scotch tape and got in there with tweezers because you couldn't get in. I taped the heck out of that thing and it finished and you couldn't even tell. So I am the most proud of that because how
'Cause you saved
crazy
it.
that print was. I'm never giving that one away.
Understandable.
It's also a great model and we use it too.
There you go. The next one, if you could collab with anyone in our 3D maker, 3D space, maker space community that you've never done, who would you like to collab with?
Who would I like to collab with? Oh, who would I like to collab with? Oh, this is supposed to be a fast answer.
That
And
was, that was a little bit hard because there's so many people.
I'm gonna give you an answer. And it may need to be on some way. Like I don't know how we can do it, but so you have the 3D Print General who now works with Polymaker, right?
Yep.
Right? Okay, he's a great guy. I have been watching his TikTok. I mean, he's got like
He's doing
100,000 people with it.
Yeah.
He is killing it. He is so knowledgeable. Sean is such a nice guy. And he and I have only had an opportunity to meet, just like at these festivals. So he knows so much. I think it would be really fun to come up with something to do together. I don't know what. I have
You know
no
what?
idea. And I tell you why. There are too many people. It's a tough question because, I mean, there are a lot of people I'd love to do
yeah.
something with. But when I saw him on the commercial with the the sun, I was like, this is a guy we could do something fun together.
Well, you know what? I think I know that guy, so we'll have to see what we can work together. So, yep, I talked to him here and there. Last but not least, let's see here. Well, no, never mind. It's not last because this is the one Nick asked. You get to create one special filament. What would it be? Thanks a lot, Nick. There goes my rapid fire. We already got that answer.
Orange, rainbow. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say no, just rainbow with an orange, orange focus, right?
Blood of my orange rainbow. Okay, got it.
Blood of my orange. Blood orange. There you go.
Blood orange.
There
Blood
you go.
orange rainbow.
Done deal. There you go, Nick. Run with it.
We named it.
Okay, so now with that, I know we talked. You're looking to do, start working on some long-term or long-form content.
Long form. Yep.
I'm going to give you this. The stage right now is all yours to plug whatever sites, where people can find you, where they can watch you, et cetera, whatever you want to throw out there.
It's pretty easy. We're Filament Stories everywhere. We publish short form to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We do long form to TikTok and YouTube, and then Twitter. I every now and then show up, but I'm not as big on Twitter. And filamentstories.com, we have a filament company database out there, and every month on the fourth Sunday of the month we have a podcast where we have a guest called Sliced here on YouTube, or for those of you who are on YouTube. So yeah, and that's 8 p.m. on the last Sunday of the month. But other than that, yeah.
And it finds you everywhere. Anywhere you see the icon, right?
3D Printtopia. I'll be at 3D Printtopia. I will be at Open Sauce. Right now will be at Smurf. And
Awesome.
I may get a chance to go back to Form Next, and that is fabulous. Well, they're all fabulous.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see if we can't connect you to Sean, because I think he, or 3D Print in general, he should be at 3D Printtopia.
Okay.
So we'll make something happen there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Well, I want to thank you again so much for being on the show. It's great. I love talking with you. Can't wait to see you at 3D Printtopia. I'll be there myself. So again, thank you so much, and you have a good night, and tell your family again, thank you for being patient with us and working with us, and your husband for doing the behind the scenes stuff. So it went pretty well.
And thank
I appreciate
you
it.
to all of you watching for being patient with both of us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks again, Courtney. Have a good night.
You too.
See you later. Okay, minimal hookups. Not too bad. Got the audio thing figured out for future use. But thank you guys all for watching as always. Follow us on the socials if you're not already doing so. Polymaker or Polymaker_3D. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We're all over the place. Find us anywhere and everywhere. We also have our Polymaker figurines. Pokemon project that's being run by Antoine Dimensions, and he is printing a new Pokemon every 2 days. And he's kind of throwing up a couple different things where he's adding some accessories to some previously printed Pokemon, which is pretty neat. I think Squirtle got some glasses. Somebody else got Jigglypuff got a microphone. So just some neat kind of add-ons there. But those models are available for free on makerworld.com. They're already sliced and painted, or not sliced, but they're painted. Or you can do this with the solid prints too. So those are typically every 2 days. When he releases a video of a new model, that model becomes available. So definitely download there. If you're not following him on the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks, go ahead and do so. It is a fun project to watch. And just, I think he's not even halfway through them yet. So there are still a ton to come, and they're just great models. Also, we have Pezliz, who does her in printing color Polymaker show every Wednesday on twitch.tv/Pezliz. She will be back for a off location show next week, so make sure to tune in on Wednesday, support her there. But other than that, we're going to go ahead, ask everybody right now that you haven't done so yet, do I am awesome in the chat. We're going to get ready to give a spool of filament away, and here's your last chance to get that in there. I am awesome in chat spaces, just like Warpaint just did in Twitch, and just like Dennis Day just did in YouTube. So get those in there. We're going to do that drawing. Again, appreciate everybody coming in here, being patient. Let me work the kinks out here. Everything's worked pretty well. So last, let's see. I see some last minutes in there. If you've already done it, you can't enter twice. So you're fine if you already did it once. But I'm going to draw here in about 10 seconds. Let me get my mouse back here. And Nick, do we have somebody to raid into? I'll wait for that, but I'm going to go ahead and draw right now. I'm sorry if you didn't get in. And here we go. Spinning the wheel. Let's see who we got. Who do we got? Let me copy this, what I got in chat. Just Mecha on Twitch. Congratulations. You have won a spool of Polymaker filament. We need to get a command in here for the contact. If you're on our Discord, reach out to Polymaker-Sean. It's SEAN. Message him, let him know that you want on Meet the Polymaker giveaway on 5/16, or you can email him at Sean something or other, Nick maybe coming for the save. But reach out to or myself. There you go, Sean Aranda at polymaker.com, and just email him there. We'll compare the chat log and everything with your name, verify you are who you are, and we'll get you a voucher for a free spool of Polymaker filament. Thank you for entering. Thank you guys all for watching. We are going to raid out to Mint Blue Rockets here in a second, as long as everything works. And with that, well, maybe. There we go. I think we got it here. Again, thank you guys for coming, being patient with everything. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back next week, as always, with a new maker at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch and YouTube. So the raid has been created. I think, okay, there we go. Everybody raid out. Make sure to say hello from Meet the Polymaker. Give him some love over there at Mint Blue Rocket. Thank you guys again. And we're going to raid out now. Have a good night.